Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. In today's WWE SuperCard video, it's not going to be one that is normal. It's not going to be a look at this, look at this, look at this. It's going to be a tips and tricks video. Now, as I said in my last video, I would be doing this, and I am. I received a message in-game asking from a lower tier player. I can't quite remember what tier they were at, and I thought that's actually a good idea. I feel like because I'm now at SummerSlam 19, I probably could do one of these because I'm at the top tier. I'm not at the top tier. I'm not at the plus, but that's all right. So I don't know how many tips this is going to be. I'm hoping that it comes out all right. But here am I, like 7 or 8, maybe 10 tips on how to be a better WWE SuperCard player. Now, just a disclaimer: these tips are not guaranteed to work, but these tips are perfect for the lower tier players. They're ones that I've used and a lot of other people have used, and really it's just part of the in-game manual. So if you are a SummerSlam 19 or above, it probably won't suit you because you know what you're doing. But for those lower down people and those people new to the game, it's a good one for you all to look at. So my first tip is to play. That is just about it. Every game mode here has its purpose. Wild is good for training up cards and getting card pulls. PvP, and I will be getting into that in a moment, that is good for league points, which you can then use to buy cards and buy packs, which, lead to that. Events, of course, you play them. That's what you're there to do. Just play. Get yourself into a team as well. That'll be another tip further down the line. Tip 2 is about PvP. These momentum slots here are awfully important. Now, I only go for 2 because I don't need any more. I'm in SummerSlam 19 tier with them. I'm not losing consistently with 2. I could go for 3, but you just need to find what works for you. Some people need 3, whether it's to keep them in a tier, whether it's just a standard that they've set themselves, whether they need, I don't know, they want the points or whatever. You just need to keep your momentum slots up because they are awfully handy when it comes to games. Like, they win your games, they boost your tier, they do this, that and the other thing, and they all really help you get further in the game. A third tip would be that Money in the Bank is not as useless as it seems. Now, if you are new to the game, or you are at a lower tier, you've taken a break or whatever, you would see on Twitter that Money in the Bank gets absolutely slated, and for good reason. It is extremely boring and you don't really get much for what you want. But if you can put your nose to the grindstone, it's very useful. Not this one because it was really short. Usually a Money in the Bank cycle is 44 days, and it's somewhat easy to get a card. And they're better than they're better than normal cards, and the grind is worth it. They're long-term investments, especially for somebody who's down at WrestleMania 35 tier, and you can get them for free. You can get them off of your deck. You don't have to be at SummerSlam 19 to get them. You just have to be willing to put in the hours. Even these undercards are good. Like for somebody at 35, Neon tier, Alexa Bliss is amazing. Robert Roode is just as good. Even if you got a single, Sasha Banks, that's better than no single. Pro is obviously the pinnacle, but a single SummerSlam 19 at that tier, it boosts you and it will stay in your deck for a long time. So there's tip number 3. Tip number 4 is to get yourself onto a team, and this is pretty difficult, I'm not gonna lie. Especially down at the lower tiers, there are a lot of teams that just freeload. There are a lot of people that freeload, and it's really difficult to get yourself into a good team. But if you have a connection, or you get a mate that's playing the game, jump onto their team. TBGs are really useful if you're winning them all the time. If you're not, maybe just don't do them. But also, if you're on a good enough team and you're losing them and still getting things that benefit you, well, that's a win, isn't it? So team events, team ring domination, it's a free card, really. You don't have to do a whole lot to play it. I probably played it for 2 hours yesterday and I got 25 shards. And our team got 2 cards. Team Road to Glory is crunch time, and they're not really the best, but if you're willing to put in and get some lower tier cards, depending on your tier, then be my guest, go right ahead. Alright, the next tip is take advantage of the Raise the Dead fusion that's going on, please. As I said in my last video, don't worry about these wishbone packs. They're not going to do much for you. Alright, you've got a chance at a monster. If you're at Beast, that's decent. Alright, you're getting at least a monster. That's awesome. Take your time. You've got 30 days. Get a reanimator pack, or 2, or 3, or 4. You've got plenty of time, and it doesn't take that long. It took me longer to fuse this than it does. It takes you longer to fuse this than it does to get your 8 bone piles. And it's not based off your top 8, so you are guaranteed a WrestleMania 35 tier card to SummerSlam 19. You might not get a skeleton, but whoop-de-doo-dah, it's just a special looking card. Yeah, the stats are better, but really, is it that important? You know, yes, it is, of course it is, but, you know, if you can get one of the skeleton cards, or even just a normal SummerSlam 19 tier, and you're at Gothic, that's unbelievable. It's just over double what your card stats are at the moment, so just take advantage of them. You don't have to do anything special to get them. You just need to play an event. You can play wild. You know, that's not that difficult. Take it from me. Tip number 5 or 6 maybe, is that female cards are like gold. There are only 2, I'll go into female. There are only 2 females per top 8, and so that's why they're really, really important that you get them right, and you think, you know, that you put them above a male pro, because they do so much for your deck. You know, they're pretty hard to get. I'm not going to lie, and that's why when they put a SummerSlam 19 Carmella in the team event, you have to do all that you physically can to make sure you get that card. If you're in Gothic tier and there's a shattered Ronda Rousey up for grabs in the Road to Glory, you need to chisel out those 1 pointers, because that card will be invaluable when the time comes for you to move up a tier. That female has set you for nearly neon tier. Yeah, like what I did in my last video. If a Becky Lynch is a pro for you, you need to purchase that Becky Lynch. You know, I don't even know what I'm saying anymore, but you know, you just need to make sure that you're getting your females correct, because male cards come across so easily. You know, female cards do not. That's why that Alexa Bliss in the Money in the Bank is so important. You know, if you can just put a couple of hours away a day, maybe even 1 hour a day, and you get that Alexa Bliss, that is better than, I don't know, than waiting and getting a free neon card, you know. So that is that. Tip number 6 or 7, I'm not sure what it is, but make sure that when you're combining a card, you have your matches done properly. This is a very easy mistake to make, especially if you're new to the game. I know when the matches system first got introduced, it was a pain in the backside. So what you need to do to find these out is you click on the card and you'll see power, toughness, speed, charisma and ability. And when you first get a card, like Ember, they will be 0. You then need to play matches in Wild, in War, in Royal Rumble, in Women's Royal Rumble, whatever it is, to get those matches to 40 in all stats and 20 in ability. That means that your card is at the peak for what it can be. That's the peak stats without enhancements. Make sure that your tokens are on as well. You'll get 16 per SummerSlam card. I can't quite remember what it is for Gothic, Neon and Shattered. It wouldn't be much less than that. So you need to make sure that you've got all your tokens in as well. And if you're putting on enhancements, that's just a bonus, isn't it? So make sure that all that is correct, because the stats and your deck will benefit if they're correct than if they're not correct. Alright. King of the Ring isn't that great. Usually your deck is well down on what it should be, well down on your top 8, so you know, it's really, if you think you can win it, go and win it. But most of the time my deck probably could win it. No, it couldn't. It couldn't win a Cataclysm King of the Ring. But you want to make sure that you're not there, but that your deck is right at the end of that tier before you probably think about starting them and winning them. So that's just my opinion anyway. It could be wrong. It probably is wrong. Alright, what else is there? I'm really good at this, as you can see. I was thinking about this during my practice exam today, and I can't even remember half of it. You don't need to spend credits at all. You really don't. I play this game mostly for free. The login bonuses, when I say mostly for free, I might buy like a $3. What are my credits at the moment? I might spend $3 on credits every now and then, but it's not. They're few and far between. You can do it for free. Make sure you claim both your free packs. They're very important, especially now. You can get a Raise the Dead ingredient for free. It could be an elite. That's awesome. You know, make sure you're claiming your login bonuses. I don't even know where login bonuses are anymore. Here? Yes. You know, these ones, you know, you're getting 5 bones. You know, and make sure that you're always claiming them, because they got free credits from the second one onwards. So they're invaluable. You put them towards an event, you know, and they're really, really, really useful. I've got 2 tips to go now, I think. And the first one is chisel out the one pointers. No matter how annoying they are, we know that they're annoying. No matter how annoying they are, no matter how tedious and monotonous they are, if you chisel out 51 pointers to get, to get like a shattered female or a shattered pro, it's going to be much, much better than if you didn't. You know, you just got to do it. You know, long term it'll thank you. You know, long term, if that shattered, I don't know, Alexa Bliss is still in your deck, you know, you're going to be going, geez, I'm glad that I've got this shattered instead of this gothic, you know, and it took me only an extra 2 hours of effort, you know, long term. And that's also what you got to do. You know, you might go, well, that's what you got to look at. You know, you might have a neon female and you might be stoked with that. But if you know that you've got the time and you've got the patience, go for that shattered, because short term, yeah, that neon Sasha Banks is going to help you, but long term, that shattered Alexa Bliss is going to be so much better for your deck, and that'll stay in your deck for a long time. So, you know, make sure that you always put in that extra effort, no matter how annoying it is. The last tip is to subscribe to this YouTube channel if you want to see great content like this. This was an abomination of a video, I think. I don't know what I was thinking. Anyway, that'll be it. Thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy, please leave us a like rating and a subscribe down below. I hope these tips helped. I really do. There was probably a few that I'm missing, and if you want to add some, comment them. Feel free. They're probably better than mine. So yeah, if we get a bit of a community feel around this to try and raise the bar of everybody's decks and everybody's time on the game, that'd be great. So anyway, that'll be number 2. That'll be episode number 1 for the day. There'll be another one coming in a few hours. So keep your eyes open for that. Thank you very much for watching, as I said, and I'll see you next time. Cheerio and bye-bye.